Hi guys, it is Jeanine. Welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I wanted to give you guys tips and tricks for how to lose your menopause weight gain. Are you in perimenopause, menopause? Weight loss over 40 can be tricky. Why does it feel so hard? On today's video, I want to give you some practical, actionable tips to lose the weight for good and keep it off. So stay tuned. I am a certified personal trainer and nutrition coach. I myself have had a 100-pound weight loss journey many years ago, but recently, just last year, I had to lose 15 pounds of menopause weight as well, and it did feel a little bit harder. On today's video, I just want to help you along with that process. I want to be the one video that you need to watch to get the ball rolling, because sometimes we can tend to consume a little too much information and we don't actually take action. This is the video that you'll need to refer to. Take action that I give you. Take action on some of the steps in this video, and I kid you not, the weight will come off. Let's go ahead and get into it. Before we get too far, make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit the bell to be notified when I post new videos. I post tons of information on this account. Specifically, if you are over 40, perimenopause, menopause, I can help you with tips and tricks on how to lose weight and keep it off. I also have a podcast that resides here on my channel as well with my husband, cutting all the BS out of nutrition and fitness advice, making it easy and fun in a very relatable way. If you are interested in that kind of content, subscribe, follow me on my other social medias that are up on the screen. Now let's go ahead and get into it. Biggest thing that I notice when it comes to weight loss is people tend to overcomplicate the process. You do not have to follow any specific fad diet, any specific restrictive rules. It doesn't have to be so difficult. I think that people feel like they have to eat a certain specific way in order to lose weight, or they also have to suffer through the process. So what I like to go over with my clients and have them really grasp is to master the basics. So that's what I want to talk about today. So number one, the first basic thing you need to master is macros. But I know that sounds super complicated. This video is not meant to be complicated. It is meant to be simple. You need to, in terms of this video and in terms of getting results, you need to worry about two things when it comes to macros: your total calorie intake and hitting a certain protein goal. That's it. Do not worry about carbs and fats. You do not need to worry. If you follow those two simple things, just keep track of two numbers. That is all you need to do to master macros. Okay. Now, what those numbers should be for you, that does vary. It varies depending on your current status, your individual goals, your current body composition. Okay. If you do not know what those numbers should be, I do macro assessments. I can do one for you. It's pretty in-depth, pretty detailed, and I give you instructions on how to track macros and how to track and things like that in your assessment. If you're interested in that, click the link up here and I will go ahead and do an assessment for you. That is one of the things I offer as part of my coaching, and a lot of people are very successful with my assessments. Now, if you do not want to invest in an assessment and you rather just take a shot in the dark initially and just get started with some particular number and just get used to tracking at least, then I'm going to give you a little tip. Use this formula, okay? If you have less than 30 pounds to lose, take your goal weight and multiply it by 12. That will be your daily calorie limit. And for your protein, you would eat 1 gram of protein per pound of your goal weight. This is a nice little estimate, a nice way to get started. It's not super precise because it's not customized based on your individual goals, but for a lot of people, this calculation is just fine and works just fine. If you have more than 30 pounds to lose, then I want you to take your current weight, take your current weight, subtract 30 pounds off of that weight, and multiply that weight by 12 to get your starting calorie intake. So, for example, if you are currently 200 pounds, you would take 170 times 12. So you're taking 30 pounds off of the 200 equals 170. 170 times 12, your starting daily calorie intake would be 2,040. And then you would also take 1 gram, and then you would still do the protein the same. You do 1 gram of protein per pound of goal weight. So your ultimate goal. So if your ultimate goal is 140 pounds, do 140 grams of protein. Again, this is an estimate. This is what you can do if you are not ready, can't afford, or you're not wanting to invest in a macro assessment. I do recommend that you actually get a specific macro assessment. But like I said, these calculations are a good starting point, and you can see what your body does with these calculations. So that is mastering basic number 1. You want to get really comfortable and really consistent with calculating your total daily calorie intake and hitting that protein goal every day. Okay. The next thing is movement. Okay. You have to master movement. How do you master movement? You should be moving your body a minimum of 30 minutes every day. So if you are not resistance training, ideally 3 to 5 days a week, that would be in the form of resistance training, meaning you are using dumbbells, you are using your body weight, you are using machines, you are doing some sort of resistance training program. The other days, you should be walking. You really should be walking or tracking steps every single day, and then also 3 to 4 days a week incorporating the resistance training. But every single day, you should be moving your body in some capacity. How do you know how many steps you should be walking? Everyone throws out a number, 10,000 steps. I think for some people that's feasible, but if you are non-active right now and you are very sedentary, you have a sedentary job, I think a good starting point is get yourself some sort of tracker, an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, to track your current average daily steps. Look at what you're currently averaging and add to that and use that as a goal. So if you are currently averaging 5,000 steps a day, let's aim for 6,000. And when you can master 6,000, you up it to 7,000, so on and so forth. If you are currently doing 5,000 and you jump it to 10,000, that's a big jump and can be difficult to manage and to stay consistent with. A gradual increase is fine, but you should be monitoring your steps because it will give you an idea of how consistent you are being with your activity. So again, mastering movement would be to move your body in some capacity every single day. And at least 3 to 5 days a week, you are doing some sort of resistance training. This is specifically important for women who are in menopause. It is very important to do strength training. This is going to help prevent osteoporosis and sarcopenia, which is age-related muscle loss. Muscle is literally the key to longevity. It prevents injury when you are older. It will give you the aesthetic that you're looking for in your body. It is very important. A lot of times people will say, if I do not have time for both cardio and resistance training, what would you recommend I do? I would recommend dedicating the time that you have to resistance training and then any additional time to cardio type exercises or steps. Prioritize the resistance training. Water is so important. Many of us walk around in a dehydrated state. You shouldn't even get to the point where you feel thirsty because then you are already dehydrated. In order for your metabolism to be optimized, it also helps with satiety. It helps with so many processes in the body. We need to be hydrated. You should be targeting a minimum of half of your body weight in ounces of water daily. I personally like to shoot for the stars a little bit and go for about 100 ounces daily. I like to get more than I think I need, but at least half of your body weight in ounces of water. Sleep is essential. Sleep is what's going to help us hit those movement goals, hit those macro goals, control cravings, increase our caloric burn throughout the day. If we are not getting enough sleep, none of those other things are going to be possible. And a lot of times we put sleep on the back burner. We should be getting a minimum of 7 hours of sleep per night. How do you get consistent with your sleep? You have to put yourself on a schedule. You have to prioritize sleep and make it a priority. You have to make it a priority by keeping your room cool, keeping it dark, going to bed and waking at the same time every day. This will get your body in a good routine and rhythm, and it will just help you have better quality of sleep. If you do not get good night's sleep, it impacts so many different areas of your life, including high cortisol, inability to control cravings, lack of desire to move your body. You're going to burn less calories throughout the day. So it is really important to prioritize sleep. A lot of times people don't equate sleep with weight loss, but they are absolutely go hand in hand. So those are the basics. Okay. Notice I didn't give you any rules on what you can eat, when you need to eat, all of that, because none of that matters. All you need to do is master the basics. Now I want to give you a couple of other things that you can focus on that are going to help you significantly. Number one, especially if you are in perimenopause and menopause, you need to make sure that you are getting in enough fiber. Fiber plus adequate water intake is literally going to shrink your waistline. A lot of times our waists or we're feeling bloated is because we don't have optimized digestion. We're not getting in enough fiber. A lot of times too, now that people tend to be a little bit afraid of carbohydrates, they are inadvertently significantly decreasing the amount of fiber they eat. I absolutely recommend getting 30 to 35 grams of fiber daily, but just keep in mind, if you are getting in that amount of fiber, you must be hitting your water goal because it goes hand in hand. Too much fiber without water is a problem. But if you get in enough water and enough fiber, that is going to get your digestion really good and literally will bring in your waistline just by optimizing your digestion. Another thing I recommend in a supplement, I feel like, especially for women in those menopause years, many people are magnesium deficient, and magnesium is responsible for so many processes in the body. So I would recommend implementing a magnesium supplement. Of course, any supplementation you should check with your doctor, especially if you have prescription medication. Make sure that there's no issues with your prescriptions. But magnesium can help with so many different things: cognitive, mood, digestion, sleep, so many different things. I take Metagenics. I take 400 milligrams a day. And you do not have to take magnesium with food. I spread it throughout the day. I take 100 with lunch, 100 milligrams with dinner, and 200 milligrams at bedtime. And again, it has so many different benefits in the body, and most people are deficient in magnesium or they're not getting in enough magnesium. I like magnesium glycinate because it's the most highly absorbable magnesium out there, and I noticed a lot of changes in myself when I started taking magnesium. It also helps with lowering blood pressure potentially, so that is also another good thing for magnesium. So I've thrown a lot at you. It might seem overwhelming, but again, keep in mind, I didn't give you any rules for what you could eat. I didn't give you any specifics around it. Just master those basics. But that's a lot of stuff, right? I give you macros, movement, water, sleep, fiber, some supplements. Where do you begin? What I would recommend, the very first thing is start counting your calories. Start with the beginning of this video and start with the very first thing that I talked about and go down the line. Master each thing and then layer in the next. For right now, maybe you are just doing that little calculation and you are going to start counting calories every day and seeing how consistent you can get with counting your calories. Once you feel pretty comfortable there and consistent, then you're going to start monitoring your protein intake, so on and so forth. So then you're going to master that. Then you're going to start getting really good about your movement and making it a non-negotiable, scheduling workouts, tracking steps. Then you move on to your water, then sleep, and you focus on each level and master it before you layer in the next. And once you master those things, the simplest things, right? It doesn't sound too complicated. Once you master those things, you've created a foundation that will get you to your goals. Not only get you to your goals, but it will keep you there because it is something that you can do forever. This is not a temporary fix. It is not something you stop doing. The only thing that changes is your calorie intake. That's the only thing that changes based on where you're at and where your goals are and what your weight is. But everything else stays the same. So just your calorie target changes. The fact that you should be monitoring it doesn't change. For the most part, your protein won't really change much. None of the things that you're doing, so you're creating a lifestyle that you should be able to live doing forever. Because if you can't do it forever, the weight's not going to stay off. The weight's going to come back. You have to make permanent lifestyle changes in order for weight to come off and stay off. I have had a big weight loss journey many years ago. I was able to maintain my weight for the most part up until this last year when I gained some menopause weight, but cinching things down and getting back on track with the basics took the menopause weight gain off. I also was able to lose that menopause weight gain with hypothyroidism before I started taking my medication. The basics work. You don't need a fancy diet or a fancy program to lose weight. It doesn't matter if you're in menopause, have PCOS, have hypothyroidism. The basics still work. So hopefully you got some good little nuggets of information from this video. Let me know what you're going to try. Let me know if it is helpful. I cannot wait to hear you guys implement some of these things and have some success, because I know you will. I have thousands of women that have reached out saying they have implemented just some things for my YouTube videos and have been able to lose weight without any investment at all. Again, if you do want a specific macro assessment with some tips and tricks and instructions on how to actually use a tracking app, I can do a macro assessment for you. And yeah, that's about it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you in the next one.